Madam Secretary.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 4026, a concurrent resolution to create and enact a new section to Article 10 of the Constitution of North Dakota relating to the creation of a legacy scholarship fund, and to amend and reenact Section 26 of Article 10 of the Constitution of North Dakota relating to the legacy fund.
Senator Shively.
Mr. Chairman, or Mr. President, the bill was explained yesterday. It's supposed to take $4.5 million from the legacy fund, would put it in a scholarship fund, and this would be a referral that would be voted on the general election in November of 2014. I guess the committee came out without recommendation because we were split on the idea of the timing and the real intent of the legacy fund. I guess some of us thought that nobody was objections to scholarships, but the idea of messing with the legacy fund at this time, the amount of money that was taken out of it was probably not in the real intent of the legacy fund, that we should, we have ideas that we're going to study this, and that this was not supposed to be messed with until after 2017, and I guess that was kind of the idea that we had. I guess my opinion on the matter was that I agree. I don't think it's the appropriate time to take money out of the legacy fund and start divvying it out in certain directions as to the idea of what's best for the state. I guess I guess in my opinion, I think it's too premature to be doing that kind of stuff. I think the people of the state wanted us to let this fund grow, and at that time decide what was the most appropriate way.
Further discussion. Senator Andrist.
Well, Mr. President and members of the Senate, I felt this resolution caught some of us by surprise, and I too think it should be rejected. 2 years ago when we established this fund, I think the paradigm we were thinking of was we're going to set aside this portion of this huge war chest of oil tax monies that's coming in, so we've got something for the time when those receipts may go away. And I don't quarrel with what 4026 would use it for, but I think it's far too early to start taking pieces of this and passing it out for future use. I think it should be a savings account that's put away really for future use and for real problems that we might face in North Dakota. And so I would hope we would register a no vote on this.
Senator Cook.
Well, Mr. President, I agree wholeheartedly with the previous two speakers, and I just again want to remind this body that earlier this session we passed a resolution to study it, and I think that study is probably the most important thing. If there is a fund in North Dakota that truly is the people's money, it is this legacy fund. The people of North Dakota created it, and I believe that no matter what we do with this money in the future, that before we go down that road and make a decision, that discussion needs to involve the people of North Dakota. That was the intent of the study, so that during the interim we could engage the people who created this bill or this fund, find out all of the ideas, get them all on the table. Education, higher education for the children of North Dakota is certainly a good option. But I think that we need to have the discussion with the people, let them bring it forward. Through that, they might buy onto it. It'll be greater success. And so let's have the study first, and then let's figure out what we're going to do with it after that study.
Senator Hogue.
Well, Mr. President, I would concur with the two previous speakers that urged us to defeat this resolution, but I have a little bit of a different reason as well. Mr. President, if you know anything about our U.S. Constitution, you probably realize that it's recognized as a model around the world for democracies. And it's a great document, but I think most people would agree that there were a few mistakes in our U.S. Constitution, and one of them was Article 7. Article 7 gives all of us a right to a jury trial when the amount in dispute is $20 or more. No, I have no doubt, Mr. President, that back in 1789, when we were first adopting our Constitution, that $20 was a lot of money. And they wanted the right to have that dispute resolved by their peers. But that figure of $20 is in our U.S. Constitution today. And that is the problem with this particular resolution as well, Mr. President. It specifies a flat dollar amount, $450 million. Now, we can debate whether that's too much or not enough, but I hope what we can't debate, Mr. President, is that we should not, in any constitutional amendment, start putting flat dollars that can't be changed through some mechanism like a consumer price index or expressed as a percentage. Because when we do that, we end up having to try to amend the Constitution again. And amending the Constitution is not within this chamber's control. It's the people's decision. So I think that's a defect that this resolution has. $450 million may seem like enough money today, but let's face it, our population is growing, the cost of higher education is increasing, and that figure may not be adequate at some other point in our future. So for that reason as well, Mr. President, I would urge us to reject this resolution.
Senator Schneider.
Mr. President, I want to congratulate the Senate on its vote yesterday. I have a sinking feeling we're going to have a different turn of events here today. But while we're at it, let me just give the body some context of where this idea came from. In 2005, the state of Wyoming, a similarly situated state to North Dakota, a lot of valuable natural resources there. It took $400 million, set that aside as a constitutional matter in that state's constitution, and created an endowment that permanently funds merit-based scholarships. It's called the Hathaway Scholarship Program. It's working in practice in that state with a similar geographic situation, similar culture, and it's providing economic opportunity not only for the students that benefit from those scholarships, but it's also providing a workforce for that state. And so Wyoming has seen the writing on the wall. They're an energy-rich economy. Their economy is doing very well, but they also want to prepare for life after the energy industry maybe takes a downturn. That is exactly the point of this proposed Senate concurrent resolution. What it would do is put the question to the people whether or not we want to take $450 million from the Legacy Fund, set that aside, and make a permanent investment in our best and brightest. Use the return on that endowment to fund merit-based scholarships forever. Just to address a couple of points, is this the right time? You know, I'm not sure, but the people are going to get a say on this. This is ultimately heading their direction. This is put on the ballot. The people have the power to reject this resolution. They can determine for themselves whether this is the right time. Mr. President, in response to my friend from Mandan, this is the people's money, and they're going to be able to determine what to do with it. Finally, regarding the enshrinement of a specific dollar amount in the Constitution, there's absolutely nothing in this resolution that would stop the legislature in a statutory manner from adding to the $450 million endowment. But obviously, if you're going to have an endowment, you have to start with some specific dollar amount. This dollar amount is about $50 million more than the endowment in Wyoming that has successfully funded their merit-based scholarship. And so the bottom line is, Mr. President, the time to start preparing for life after the oil boom is now. Oil is a tremendous natural resource, but our most valuable natural resource is a renewable one, and that's our highly educated young people. This is a permanent investment in them that will pay off long after the last drop of oil has been extracted from the ground. Vote the same way you did yesterday. Thanks, Mr. President.
Senator Bowman.
Yeah, Mr. President, I voted against this before, and I'm going to vote against it again, not because the concept of education is bad and scholarships for our kids. But remember when we voted on this, what the people told us? We weren't going to touch this until 2017. And there's not one person, I don't believe, in here today that can tell us what our needs are going to be in 2017. At that time, we'll all have our ideas on what we should do with this. But if we wait until that time, I think then we'll address the needs of what the people of North Dakota really wanted when they put this into the Constitution.
Any further discussion? Any further? Senator Grindberg.
Mr. President, I have a couple final comments. I thought maybe after a roast beef lunch that nobody would stand up and speak. But I appreciate all the debate and discussion yesterday and today. And as I stated here yesterday, if this doesn't happen in 13, maybe it's 15 and 17. So I think the body has well vetted this, and I'm pretty clear and realize where this is going to go, and I'm fine with that. But I think it's important we continue to have this debate. And there's some more roast beef left outside if you want to take a recess.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed by way of recorded roll call vote as this matter pertains to the amendment of the Constitution. Question being the final adoption of Senate Concurrent Resolution 4026. Would the Secretary please open the key? All senators have voted. Any senator wishing to change their vote? Secretary, close the key. Final tally on Senate Concurrent Resolution 4026 reveals 14 senators voting yea, 29 senators voting nay, 4 senators absent, and not voting. The resolution fails.
Mr. President.
Senator Klein.
Mr. President, may we be on the eighth order?
Without objection, the Senate will be on